This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Europe has accused Chinese EV makers of receiving government subsidies that give them an unfair advantage in the market, hurting European automakers. Last year, the EU launched an investigation and says it could result in extra tariffs imposed on Chinese imports. China has denied this and says its EV growth is due to the superiority of its products. But a new study from Germany's Kiel Institute says that BYD has received at least $3.7 billion in direct government subsidies. The report says it's also benefiting from receiving aid for battery manufacturing and rebates to customers buying its vehicles. The Kiel Institute says subsidies like these have allowed Chinese automakers to, quote, scale up rapidly, to dominate the Chinese market, and to facilitate increasing expansion into EU markets. But subsidies aren't the only thing that Europe is worried about. The Financial Times reports that Chinese EVs are starting to pile up at several ports in the region because companies are struggling to find enough trucks and drivers to transport them out of the ports. Some vehicles have been sitting for up to 18 months. The report also says that some Chinese companies are shipping vehicles without making arrangements to transport them out. And because of that, some ports are now asking importers for proof that they'll be hauled out once they arrive. Some industry experts are even speculating that Chinese automakers are using European ports as car parks for vehicles that they're struggling to sell in China. And sticking with Europe for the moment, regulators fined automakers 510 million euros or 552 million bucks for missing CO2 emission targets in 2020. That was the first year that stricter standards went into place that required more EV and hybrid sales. But automakers have since been able to avoid getting hit with fines by joining emission pools with other automakers. In 2021, Honda and JLR joined with Tesla, and the Volkswagen Group partnered with SAIC's MG brand. And thanks to that strategy and an increase in EV and PHEV sales, automakers were only fined 10 million euros in 2021, and in 2022, Bugatti was the only brand to miss its emission targets. But since it's a low-volume manufacturer, it only sold 30 vehicles in 2022, it was not subjected to a fine.
When the elements are working against you, being confident in your grip on the road is what really matters. Bridgestone Alenza tires, improved acceleration in wet conditions.
German companies in China feel that they're being treated unfairly, according to a survey by the German Chamber of Commerce in China. 65% of the respondents of the survey, representing 150 companies, say that they see unfair competition in the form of difficulty in reaching government officials, lack of access to tax incentives, and public funding. Though the published results of the survey did not specifically include German automakers, they were likely included. And that leads us to our next story. Traditional automakers increasingly have their eyes on India as potentially the greatest growth market over the next couple of decades. Car markets in the US, Europe, Japan, and South Korea are saturated, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for the traditionals to compete in China. Since India has the largest population in the world with 1.4 billion people, the potential to sell a lot of cars there is enormous. Last year, sales hit 4.4 million vehicles, making India the fourth largest car market in the world after China, the US, and Japan, and it's growing fast. Last month, sales were up 8.4%, and 60% of that growth came from SUVs and bigger cars, not the compacts that have dominated the market. EV sales are low, but they are growing fast, with Indian customers buying 91,000 of them last year. So the Indian market is starting to mature into the kind of market that is a lot more attractive to traditional automakers. But traditional automakers are not the only ones interested in India. As we've been reporting for some time now, Tesla wants to start making cars there, And Bloomberg reports that the different states in India are jockeying to land a Tesla assembly plant. It says the state of Tamil Nadu, in the south of the country, is pulling out all the stops to attract Elon Musk. It already has plants from Renault, Nissan, Hyundai, and BMW, and is called the Detroit of India. Elon Musk will travel to India in about a week and will meet with the country's prime minister. And we wouldn't be surprised to see him announce where a new plant will be located. Solid-state batteries are seen as the next big step in cell technology, but so far, no one has come out with a full solid-state battery. However, it looks like Chinese automaker GAC will be one of the first. It says it will launch an all-solid-state battery pack in 2026 in its NEV brand Hyper. Solid state refers to the type of electrolyte in the battery, typically some sort of stiff or solid polymer, rather than a liquid electrolyte that's used in traditional lithium-ion batteries. The advantages are higher energy densities, better safety, and less impact on performance from temperature. GAC says its battery has an energy density over 400 watt-hours per kilogram, which is up to 50% more than some traditional lithium batteries, and it will provide ranges over 1,000 kilometers or 620 miles. It can also withstand a puncture or cut and up to 200 degrees Celsius or 392 Fahrenheit and still operate. So you can see why automakers are so eager to bring out these kinds of batteries. Even compared to consumers from all over the world, Chinese car buyers are much more in tune with the latest tech and want to see it in their vehicles as soon as possible. One of the pieces of tech we're seeing greater interest in is generative AI like ChatGPT. It can be applied to practically every level of vehicle development, and a popular application seems to be for infotainment systems. And Nio is giving its in-cabin assistant called Nomi an upgrade. Right now it can do things like tell jokes or let you know what the weather's like. But the new version, called Nomi GPT, will be able to learn and gain a personality over time. It's also getting emotions, so interactions with the user will seem more natural, and it will be able to tap into the web, so it will know just about anything. Nio has already started rolling out Nomi GPT to vehicles with a compatible system. BYD has its sights set on more than just China, Australia, and Africa for its new pickup truck. Car News China got pictures of it testing in Mexico and shows that it's built on the automaker's DMO platform, which will initially allow it to launch with a plug-in hybrid powertrain. BYD says it will offer around 350 kilowatts or about 480 horsepower, 100 kilometers or 62 miles of all-electric range, and an active suspension system. BYD has been showing off this truck a lot lately, and it's expected to get its sales license for China sometime this month. But that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you have a great weekend.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Intrepid's NeoVi Pi, allowing automotive engineers to interface, capture, and monitor vehicle data using Raspberry Pi. As a matter of fact, it's the automotive industry's first robust platform for Raspberry Pi, featuring Intrepid CAN-FD technology and Raspberry Pi Compute Module. The NeoVi Pi is designed for automotive environments, allowing use with relative power ranges and applications. In addition, the NeoVi Pi enables you to use the Raspberry Pi for compute while avoiding additional development to adapt to network environments. That makes the NeoVi Pi powerful enough to solve your vehicle network problems, yet small enough to fit in your backpack. One of many Intrepid tools used for developing zonal architecture and software-defined vehicles.
At Teijin Automotive Technologies, we combine world-class composite materials expertise with cutting-edge designs because, frankly, there are better ways to lightweight vehicles. So lighten up with Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Wards is the industry leader for news, data, and analysis. That's why companies across the globe subscribe to our premium service, maybe even your own. Log in for subscriber access now. Check your company's intranet for details and rely on wardsauto.com to keep you informed.